And welcome to Technology Tap. I'm Professorjrod. In this episode, we're going to talk about something that I've been seeing a lot of over the summer, plus what I did over the summer, and what CompTIA exam that I take and pass. We'll see you in a minute. All right. Let me welcome myself back after a very long summer hiatus. Actually, I want to apologize to you guys. I said I was going to be back in September, and now it's almost November, and when I decide to do this episode. But there was a couple of factors. One, Windows 11 and the software that I use to record does not work very well together. So I had to go old school. I have to put it in my laptop, one monitor. It gets a little bit cumbersome to do it if you only have one monitor, especially if you've been using a double monitor for a long, long time. So I apologize for that. But I should give you like back-to-back episodes in rapid succession, November, December. But yeah, I hope everyone had a wonderful summer and is ready to get back on the train and try to do CompTIA. This summer, I had went to DEF CON, took a couple of my students to DEF CON in Las Vegas, and it was amazing, absolutely amazing. If you have an opportunity to go to DEF CON, go. You're probably going to want to go just once, depending on what you want to end up doing in the future. But if you can get your company pay for it, even better. It is kind of pricey. It's like almost $400 the ticket. But yeah, the kids had a blast. My students had a blast. So I'm glad I was able to take them. I just worried about where they were at all times. That's a big responsibility for me. So had a great time with them. It was a very, very nice experience. So I highly recommend, if you're able to do DEF CON, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. I would highly recommend it. Also, what I've been up to, I took the CISA Plus exam, CYSA Plus exam. It's the CompTIA exam after Security Plus, and believe it or not, I passed. Yeah, it's been probably about more than 6 years since I took a CompTIA exam, and this one I studied. I'll do an episode exactly what I did and stuff to study and to be able to pass. But it was a tough one. I barely passed. Let me just say that. I barely passed. But a pass is a pass, right? As we say in CompTIA, you don't care what the score is as long as it's over the threshold. And this was over the passing. Not by much, but it was. All right, so that's what I did. That's my excuse or the reasoning for not being able to drop a couple of podcasts. Had some technical issues, still going through them, but I decided to use this laptop. Right now, I'm currently in Washington D.C. I'm at a conference. I'm actually doing this from my hotel room, which is probably one of the best places to do it. This is nice and quiet. You don't have any distractions. So let's do this. So one of the things that I've been seeing since I've been back from vacation is this. You guys have to. Technology is something that you want to be able to do. Like, don't come into this field because it's going to make you a lot of money, because it may not. You have to come to this field because this is something that you absolutely love doing. What am I saying? I'll give you an example. I have, I meet people every day who say, "Hey, I want to do security." I say, "Okay, where do you want to start? You want to start at A plus?" No, 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 no. I don't want to start at A plus. I want to start at security plus. I said, "Okay, what's your background like? Let me see what your background. Tell me a little bit about you." And they'll say, "Well, I install floors." Nothing is wrong with that. You can make a good living installing floors. I'm just saying that it's a big contrast between installing floors and doing cybersecurity. And I'm like, "Okay, so why do you want to do security, cybersecurity?" They'll say, "Well, because my brother-in-law said it's the one job where I can make money quick." No, no. That if you don't have a passion for this, if you don't love this, it's not going to work for you because you always, this is one of those jobs that you have to keep going. You have to keep improving. You have to keep learning. It's like medicine, right? And teaching, to be to perfectly honest, right? Being a professor, we had a pivot from teaching in front of a whiteboard with a projector and now doing it from Zoom and now going back in person. And before that, blackboards, right? We actually had a blackboard that we had to write our stuff in. That's gone too. They took away that. So teaching is also an adjustment. Sometimes we have to make adjustments as educators. And I think with computers is the same way. You have to have a passion for this. I just think that, and then you kind of have to earn your stripes, as they say, right? You gotta, yes, there's people that can come off the streets and take Security Plus and be very successful. That is true. I've seen it. I've actually seen it where students said, "Hey, I need to, do Security Plus because of X, Y, and Z," and they're able to do it. They're able to pass the exam. I don't know what ended up happening with this particular student that I had in mind, but it can happen. It can happen. But the likelihood of it happening is small, right? And I don't even know. He had a job. He this one particular student that I'm thinking of, he had a job offer, and they told him he needed to get his Security Plus in X number of days, and he got it in like less than a week, and he got it. So, but he had the job offer already. So, uh, my whole thing is, you know, you gotta if you don't know anything about computers, you gotta start at the bottom with A plus, and even if you know even less, you gotta start at fundamentals, right? You have to be able. Don't try to push the process. Don't rush the process. You end up making your money if you follow the process, follow the plan. There's a plan in place. CompTIA is one of those companies. I don't work for CompTIA, but they usually, they have those plans that they have. If you want to do this, follow these steps. And I'm a big proponent of that. I've just seen too many people just showing up and saying, "Hey, I want to be a cybersecurity guy, but I don't want to start. I don't want to start at the bottom." What do you think you're going to start? Right? You're going to start at the bottom, and then there's people who have a job, are miserable with their jobs, and they want to switch, but they've been at this job 10, 15, 20 years, so they're making a decent living, and then they want to start at IT. But guess what? You're going to start at the bottom probably, unless you have management experience. Then maybe you could start somewhere in the middle. I've seen that when they have management experience from different other industries and they come into IT and they come in as a manager because they have management skills. That's different. But if you don't have any management skills, and you're probably going to start at the bottom, which means you're probably going to take a pay cut. And if you're going to take a pay cut, you have to, keep going, keep studying to make more money. I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm just saying that I'm just seeing this more and more with students coming in wanting to start at the top. And regardless of whatever level that you start, top level, middle, or bottom level, you have to bring in a sense of enthusiasm. I have a student that this particular student graduated college, and she said throughout her whole college life, while she was in college, she was the girl that sat in the back and never made any friends, didn't care about making friends in school. Then when she graduated, she realized, I don't know anybody, right? I don't know, how am I supposed to go and get referrals and have people help me, get a job when I spent all this time not really introducing myself to people and just being in the one in the back. And I have not a lot, but I have a couple of students, especially right now, that they just sit in the corner, they sit in the back, and they just don't want to talk to anybody. They just want to come in and do their work and leave, which is nothing wrong with that. But this is not that type of industry. You have to know people. I've always said computers is part of communications, right? It's the big umbrella of communication. And you have to learn how to communicate. You have to learn how to speak. You have to learn how to do presentations. You have to learn how to write. You have to learn how to respond to an email, right? These are soft skills that you need in this industry. And, so you cannot be that person in the back who doesn't want to talk to nobody, puts a hat on or a hoodie on and just like, I didn't come here to be, be your friend. I get it, but it may not work for you. Maybe this is not the right place for you because you're going to have to learn how to talk. You're going to have to learn to turn around and say, hey, this thing that I'm doing is not working. Can somebody help me? Not sit there for 6 hours trying to figure it out all on your own. With a guy who's sitting behind you, that happened to him last week, and he can tell you how to fix it in 2 minutes. So you gotta, networking is important. Like I've always said, get a LinkedIn account. Get as many people as you can. I've had job offers just based on my LinkedIn profile. People, message me through LinkedIn and say, hey, I need somebody to teach a class, or, do you know someone? I get requested all the time, and it's fine, but you have to sell yourself, right? Your LinkedIn profile is your portfolio. All the accomplishments that you do, post them on LinkedIn. Let people see the real you, the talented you, right? The person who's accomplished all this. Let them see that, for they can see how talented person that you are. Believe me, the other day I had a college president follow me. I don't even know this guy, right? Why is he following me? Maybe he wants to talk about something. I don't know. But I'm always surprised by the people who request me because they're different from all sorts of life, and I kind of want to say, hey, thanks for the follow, but why are you following me? But I don't. But you know this is how you make your connections, right? So I'm just want to say it out there. If you're going to get into this business, make sure that you work on your communication. Your communication skills are very important. Your communication skills, managing expectations, right? You may not start at $50 an hour. You may have to start with a lot less, right? But just manage those expectations, right? And if this is something that you like, make it a passion, right? Say, there's a saying, say with your chest, right? Say that this is what you want to do. This is what you want to accomplish. This is what you want people to know you as this great, cybersecurity person or this great network person, right? Or even a great help desk tech. Nothing wrong with that, right? But just communicate, manage expectations, right? And keep on studying, because this is a job that technology is always going to change and you're always going to have to keep going. Look, I decided to take the CISA Plus exam because I haven't taken a cert in 6 years. Plus, I got somebody who's bothering me that I haven't taken a cert in a long time. So, I'm planning on taking Cloud Plus, CCNA, and Pen Plus by the end of January of next year. So I've already set those up as goals for myself, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm already studying, and I'm already psyched. I'm not, I want to get better. I want to improve. That's what you should also be doing. Never settle. Always keep grinding. You gotta keep grinding in this business, because if not, it's very easy to fall behind. I was at a job for 15 years, and then I decided to look for another job, and I realized I don't know anything, and I don't want anybody to fall in that category. I'm telling you, people who see me now, they're amazed how much I've, the last 7 years, I've improved my communication skills, my outlook in life. Nobody would ever thought I would do a podcast if you knew me years ago. So it's, you just have to change and you have to adjust. And this career will do it. So anyway, that's my speech, and I'm going to stick to that. All right, that'll do it for today. Thank you so much. And again, I apologize for being MIA. I'll be here in Washington a couple of days. I think I'm going to do a couple of podcasts from here, and then I'll release them, maybe once a week. All right, thanks. This has been a production of Little Cha-Cha Productions. Music by Jocom, art by Sarah. If you want to reach me, you can email me at professorjrod@gmail.com.